Hello, and welcome to Classic Country Backstories. I'm Colleen Gallagher. Before country music became a stadium-filling powerhouse, one voice helped carry it into America's living rooms. Red Foley wasn't just a hitmaker. He was a pioneer who brought country music to television and helped shape its national identity. From his warm, unmistakable voice to his groundbreaking role on the Ozark Jubilee, Foley became one of the most recognizable and influential figures of the genre's early golden era. In this episode, we take a closer look at the life, career, and lasting impact of a man who helped country music find its place on the national stage. Nashville, Tennessee, country music capital of the world, home of the Grand Ole Opry, where singers and dreamers come seeking stardom. Join me as we learn about the lives and careers of those who built this town on Classic Country Backstories. Clyde Julian Foley was born June 17, 1910, on a 24-acre farm in Blue Lick, Kentucky. He grew up in Berea. He had one older brother, Clarence Cotton Foley. He was tagged with the name Red at an early age due to the color of his hair. He was born into a musical family, and by age 9, he was giving impromptu concerts at his dad's general store, playing French harp, piano, trombone, harmonica, and guitar. He worked as a $2 a day theater usher and as a singer in a theater in Covington, Kentucky. At 17, he won first prize at the statewide talent contest. He graduated from Berea High School. In 1930, he was attending Georgetown College when he was chosen by a talent scout from Chicago's WLS AM radio to sing with producer John Lair's Cumberland Ridge Runners, a house band of the National Barn Dance. He released his first single, Life is Good Enough for Me, in June of 1933 on the Mellowtone label. Red Foley's wife, Axie Pauline Foley, died in 1933, giving birth to their daughter, Betty. On August 9, 1933, he married Eva Overstake, a WLS performer and dancer. Her stage name was Judy Martin. They had 3 children, Shirley Lee, who would eventually become Pat Boone's wife, Jenny Lou, and Julie Ann. In November of 1939, he returned to Kentucky to help his brother Cotton, along with John Lair and Whitey Ford, establish the Renfro Valley Barn Dance Stage radio show near Mount Vernon, singing songs ranging from ballads and boogie-woogie to blues. In 1939, he became the first country artist to host a network radio program, NBC's Avalon Time, co-hosted by Red Skelton. He worked extensively in theaters, clubs, and fairs. Then he returned to the National Barn Dance for the next 7 years. In 1941, Foley made his first film appearance as himself in Tex Ritter's Western, The Pioneers. During this time, he signed a lifetime contract with Decca Records. The same year, he released Old Shep, a song written with Arthur Willis about a dog he had when he was a boy. The song became a classic and was also recorded by Hank Snow, Elvis Presley, and many others. In 1944, he released a patriotic single, Smoke on the Water. The tune went to the top of the folk charts and remained there for a consecutive 13 weeks. On January 17, 1945, he became the first country performer to make a record in Nashville, Tennessee. During a session at WSM Studio B, he recorded Tennessee Saturday Night, Blues in My Heart, and Tennessee Border. He then became known for songs like The Death of Floyd Collins and The Sinking of the Titanic. He moved to Nashville in 1946 and for a brief period became a member of the Browns Ferry Four, recording Jesus Hold My Hand and I'll Meet You in the Morning. In April of 1946, Red signed on as MC for the Prince Albert Show, a segment of the Grand Ole Opry broadcast on NBC Radio, replacing Roy Acuff, who left temporarily due to a salary dispute. During the following 8 years, Red Foley established himself as one of the most versatile and respected entertainers in country music. He was the MC and straight man for Rod Brasfield and Minnie Pearl. His popularity was created with establishing the Opry as America's top country radio program. In 1947, Red Foley began recording with his backup group, the Cumberland Valley Boys. He recorded 7 top 5 hits with the group beginning in 1947 through 1949, including a number 1 single, New Jolie Blonde, a cover of the 1946 Moon Mullican hit, and the country boogie anthem, Tennessee Saturday Night, a chart topper in 1948. In 1950, he had 3 million sellers, Just a Closer Walk with Thee, Steal Away, recorded by Hank Williams as The Funeral, and a solo version of the song that later became his trademark, Chattanooga Shoeshine Boy, featuring Grady Martin on guitar. It stayed at number 1 on Billboard's country chart for 13 weeks and hit the pop chart as well. In 1949, Foley was part of the Opry's European tour, visiting U.S. military bases in England, West Germany, and the Azores with Rod Brasfield, Minnie Pearl, Roy Acuff, Hank Williams, Little Jimmy Dickens, and others. Also in 1949, he teamed up with Ernest Tubb to record Goodnight, Irene, which was a number 1 on the U.S. country charts for the duo. Too Old to Cut the Mustard made it all the way to number 5. In April 1951, Red teamed up with the Andrews Sisters to record several songs. While the songs didn't have much chart success, they were well executed and received a good deal of airplay on the country radio. On November 17, 1951, Red Foley's second wife, Eva, took her own life with an overdose of sleeping pills after finding out that Red was having an affair with radio and TV entertainer Sally Sweet. Foley cut back on performing to spend more time at home with his daughters. He continued to record various styles of music, including rockabilly and rhythm and blues. His 1951 hit, Peace in the Valley, was one of the first gospel music records to ever sell 1 million copies. Beginning in 1951, Foley hosted The Red Foley Show on Saturday afternoons on NBC Radio out in Nashville. The show then moved to Springfield, Missouri, and ABC from 1956 to 1961. On December 17, 1952, Red Foley announced that he had secretly married his third wife, Sally Sweet, on October 28th in Luca, Mississippi. Earlier that year, he settled out of court with Sweet's ex-husband, Nashville music producer Frank B. Kelton, who had sued him in April for $100,000 for alienation of affection. On November 21, 1953, Red was one of the first 8 singers named to Billboard magazine's honor roll of country and western artists, named by the Disc Jockeys of America as an all-time great of country and western music. Red Foley never lost his love of country music. However, many of his songs managed to find their way over to the pop charts. His other hits like Sugarfoot Rag, Cincinnati Dancin' Pig, and Birmingham Bounce, which stayed at number 1 for 14 weeks. The song prompted 21 cover versions. One by One, a duet with Kitty Wells, went to number 1 and stayed on the charts for 41 weeks. He also recorded with Ernest Tubb, with whom he maintained a fictitious on-air feud. Known by then as Mr. Country Music and America's favorite country gentleman, critics dubbed him the Barnyard Bing Crosby. After several years of virtual retirement, music executive Cy Simon convinced Red to move to Springfield, Missouri, where he began to host the Ozark Jubilee in July of 1954. The deal was made over a bottle of Jack Daniel's whiskey at the Andrew Jackson Hotel in Nashville. Foley struggled with alcohol, according to Maxine Brown. In 1955, he was given an honor from the Oklahoma legislature as the artist who contributed with humility and reverence more than any other person to perpetuate the music so deeply embedded in the hearts of the American people. The same year, he was credited as discovering Brenda Lee, who was to become a regular on the Jubilee. During the October 4, 1956 program, Red Foley was presented with a gold record for Peace in the Valley. The Ozark Jubilee ran for nearly 6 years and cemented Red Foley's success in country music. However, the show was canceled, partly due to charges against Foley for tax evasion in 1960. His first trial ended in hung jury, but on April 23, 1961, he was quickly acquitted. From 1954 to 1955, Red recorded several transcriptions for Radio Ozark Enterprises in Springfield, along with his band members Tommy Jackson on fiddle, Grady Martin on guitar, Bud Isaacs on steel guitar, Bob Moore on bass, and Billy Burke on accordion. On April 25, 1956, he appeared on ABC's Masquerade Party as Little Red Riding Hood and made a guest appearance the next day on CBS's Strike It Rich. He appeared on ABC's The Pat Boone Chevy Showroom, a 1957 through 60 program hosted by his son-in-law Pat Boone. On February 22, 1960, he appeared on The Jack Paar Show. In the summer of 1961, Foley appeared twice on NBC TV's Five-Star Jubilee and made 58 appearances at 22 state fairs with Boob Brassfield. He moved to Los Angeles and from 1962 to 63 played Fess Parker's Uncle Cooter on Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, an ABC TV sitcom. In 1963, he returned to Nashville and performed and toured with the Grand Ole Opry. He appeared in 1966 for a musical film called Sing a Song for Heaven's Sakes and was a guest on the Joey Bishop Show August 24, 1967. Red Foley was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1967. He was the first Kentuckian and one of only 6 then-living inductees. On September 19, 1968, Foley appeared in 2 Opry performances in Fort Wayne, Indiana, sponsored by the Allen County Sheriff's Department that included Billy Walker and 19-year-old Hank Williams Jr., son of longtime friend Hank Williams. Williams Jr. noted that Foley was somewhat slower that day than usual and had no appetite. Before the second show, according to Walker, Foley came to his dressing room and Walker shared his faith in Christ. Foley said, "Do you think God could ever forgive a sinner like me?" He began to tell me all the rotten things he'd done in his life, and I looked him in the face and I said, "Red, if God can forgive me, he can forgive you." I prayed with Red. He went out, and the last song he sang was Peace in the Valley. He came over to the side of the stage and said, "Billy, I've never sung that song and feel the way I do tonight." Foley suffered respiratory failure that night and died in his sleep in his hotel room in Fort Wayne. Allen County Coroner Gordon Frank said that Foley had been deceased for 8 to 10 hours, prompting Hank Williams Jr. to write and record as Luke the Drifter Jr., "I was with Red Foley the night he passed away." According to the song, which charted that November, his last words were, "I'm awful tired now, Hank. I've got to go to bed." Foley had sung Peace in the Valley at Hank Sr.'s funeral. Red Foley was only 58 years old. Some 2,000 showed up to pay their respects at Foley's funeral. The service was simple and moving. Then he was interred at the Woodland Memorial Park in Nashville. The Rooks Van Dellen Residence Hall at Calvin College has an annual celebration of Red Foley in mid-November. The celebration began in 1968 when students from the hall heard a radio announcer say, "Red Foley was a great country singer. Too bad no one will ever remember him." That day has been celebrated with few lapses to remember Foley ever since. In 1970, Berea College established the Red Foley Memorial Music Award. Initiated by his longtime friend and colleague, Cy Simon, the annual award is presented to talented Berea College students in recognition for their musical contributions to the campus community. It is intended to promote the music associated with Foley's career, such as folk, country, bluegrass, gospel, and popular music. Foley has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for his recording career at 6225 Hollywood Boulevard, and one for his television career at 6300 Hollywood Boulevard. Foley Middle School, located in Berea near Foley's boyhood home, opened in 1978 and educates students in southern Madison County in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. The school retains a large collection of personal items once owned by Foley on display in the library. The collection was donated by members of his family. In 2002, he was inducted into the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame, where his corncob pipe is on display. On June 10, 2003, a Kentucky State historical marker was placed at Foley's boyhood home in Berea. In 2006, his 1951 version of Peace in the Valley was entered into the Library of Congress National Recording Registry. That wraps up this episode of Classic Country Backstories. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave us a comment on our shows, okay? Until next time, take care, God bless, and I'll see you later.